Welcome, Radio Fam. It is Joe Cotto. I am here with
German Saturn, and together we are the
Radio Bros.
Radio Bros.
You know what? We're going to work on nailing that, people. We're going to take a couple days off, and we're going to figure out how do we get it in sync.
We're going to practice a whole day.
We have to.
Until we get it right.
We got that whole pause going like, we are the radio. We'll get it. We're going to get it. We're going to do it.
It's also part of the excitement, too.
Yeah.
It is. We have a special guest today.
Yes, we do. We have a special guest that means a lot to both of us. He represents a team here in Los Angeles that both German and I find super exciting and also can trace back to our childhood. I know for myself, it all started in 1994 with the World Cup that happened here in the United States. And I was bit by the bug. And 2 years later, ladies and gentlemen, we had a team here in Los Angeles known by
the LA Galaxy.
The LA Galaxy. And today, ladies and gentlemen, señoras y señores, contamos con la presencia de the Galaxy Guy himself from the Galaxy Guy podcast. We have Chris Maldonado.
Yes.
Awesome. Pleasure being here with you guys. I listened to the last episode you guys did with Chuy Martinez. And let me tell you guys, really good stuff.
Thank you, man.
We've been
Appreciate
listening
that.
to you all day.
We are fans of you.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Appreciate it.
German's been talking about you for quite some time now. He says the Galaxy Guy podcast. And, you know, we started doing a podcast. What this is our third episode now?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Third.
But, you know, so it's exciting to speak to somebody that's been doing it longer than we have, you know, so.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's really cool. It's really cool. And, you know, we'll get into some of the fandom when it comes to the Los Angeles Galaxy because we are all fans here. You know, and we were mentioning earlier that it has affected us, and we each have a distinct relationship with the team itself. And, you know, like I said, we will get into that. But first, let's get to know Chris.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Chris?
Absolutely. I'm doing well. I mean, it's Thursday. It's starting to feel a little like, the chilly weather in LA had
Sweater
that.
weather.
Oh, it is.
Indeed. Sweater weather. Had that
Yeah.
fog in the morning.
Oh, it was nice.
Yeah.
That mist. And you know what? I've been signing up. My daughter just started playing AYSO, so I signed up for the field setup, so setting up the goals. And at 6:30 in the morning, that mist is awesome as it floats over like a field, you know, over the pitch. It looks really, really cool. So I'm sure, you know, it's also part of the appreciation that comes with el juego del fútbol.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, also the kids are out of town. You said you have your kid, your wife, and kids are out of
kids
town.
out of town,
I mean,
so,
I'm sorry to mention this, but I mean that's a good time.
He has permission to be here.
Yeah,
I have
He's
permission to
good.
be here tonight. That's right.
Yeah, that explains the chain out, the V-neck shirt.
The V-neck
The
shirt,
guy's
yeah.
looking sharp.
I didn't get the memo. You guys are rocking the
I know,
Galaxy
that-
gear.
That's my fault, bro. I should have given you. It's funny because I was more excited. Like, Joe, we got to rock Galaxy gear for Chris tomorrow.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't tell Chris himself.
And the Galaxy guy shows up wearing a V-neck.
No, the Galaxy guy has to look cool today. I think that.
Yeah.
You know, I think when we see your podcast, like you're in Galaxy form. Today. You're chill. We're getting to know Chris today.
I'm a dad. I can't afford to look cool.
And you know, he's right. He's right. We have to recycle a lot of it. It's got to be like, I mean, we have like 3 favorite outfits, probably 3 favorite jackets, and you know, whatever feels comfortable.
Exactly.
Before we get started, I wanted to ask you, how did you become the Galaxy Guy?
So I was speaking off the air with German about this a little earlier. It all started in Reddit.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people out there are familiar with the website Reddit, the front page of the internet. There's different subreddits for different things, activities, lifestyle
Right.
choices. There's a Galaxy community on there, one of the largest communities on the internet.
Oh, wow.
That's where I got started. I was just some guy, posting post-game analysis, posting silly things. I still post a lot of silly things, memes, funny videos, and people just started remembering who I was, and they just called me the Galaxy Guy because I was very active in that community. So that's kind of how I got started with Galaxy commentary, was through Reddit on the Galaxy subreddit. So shout out to them as well. Amazing community.
And before I forget, I'd like to mention it as many times. How can people listen to the show, and how can they follow you? I know we got to do the like and subscribe, and if you can put that information out there, that'd be excellent.
It's very easy. The main platform that we're on is YouTube. It's visual and audio media, just straight YouTube, and that's the Galaxy Guy podcast. You can find us there on the YouTube channel. Social media, same thing. Very big on Instagram. That's the primary social media for us, and that's the Galaxy Guy podcast. And same as Twitter.
Yeah, super easy
Same
to
handle.
search.
Yeah.
Super easy. I jumped on YouTube today. typed it in, just like you said, the Galaxy Guy podcast, and the videos pop up. So that's
Awesome.
really cool to see. All right, so I gave you a little gist as to what the show is about and what we're trying to do. We're trying to inspire people, some of the younger the folks, and it's also fun to talk on the microphone, right, and listen to ourselves over headphones.
Yes, sir.
And we'd like to know how you got started. Where one of our favorite questions to start things off with is, what kind of kid were you? Yeah,
I was a combination of both. I was a very good kid. I have a very religious background. Like my dad's a preacher, right? Wow. So growing up as a preacher kid, you have that it's una mala fama, if you call it that, right? Where you're a very good kid, but sometimes you can misbehave, right? So right. I was a little bit of both. We came here in 1995.
From where exactly?
From El Salvador. So I was born in El Salvador. A lot of people don't believe it because of the way I talk and the way I look. I'm like, wait a minute, you don't look like a Salvadoreño. But I'm very much a Salvadoreño.
That always throws me off. Like, how is a Salvadorian supposed to look? Because when I get the same thing, it's like, how? Is there a...
There's parts of El Salvador where people look white. They have colored eyes. And
half of my family, I look more different than them. No, it's just funny because you were actually one of those people, not to throw you under the bus, but you were like, Salvadorian, well, how do they look like?
Well, yes, but also...
Tattoos on the face, on the neck.
No, but let's get this started. Hold on. Before you go there, and don't make it go... First of all, I came from up north, and we didn't have many Salvadorians.
Which is crazy. I didn't know that.
That's crazy.
So, I came here, and I was like, where's El Salvador? And, pardon my ignorance, but, it's just, I didn't grow up learning that.
And the irony is that he ended up befriending two of them. He ended up living with one, so he got close to myself and Carlos Ganusa, who he lived with, who's a fellow Salvadorian.
Yes.
Too, which is crazy.
If we're gonna go into the way people look, there's two opposite sides. Salvadorian right there in one household right there.
Puerto Rican?
I'm Puerto Rican, yes. I'm Puerto Rican and I'm Mexican.
My sister-in-law is Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Los arroz con gandules.
Pero ya tú sabes.
Ya tú sabes. El bizcocho.
El bizcocho tiene diferentes, ¿cómo se dice? Definiciones dependiendo en qué idioma estés hablando.
Birthday cake.
Yeah, obvio, pero también en México I think bizcocho means something else.
Birthday cake.
Does it?
Oh, does it really?
Even know. Cake. There's guagua. Guineo.
That's the bus.
Yeah.
Guineo.
Do you know what guineo is?
Guineo is plátano, right?
Yeah. Muy bien. Pero I'm also Mexican. Y también es importante representar la cultura mexicana. Mi mamá de Chihuahua. Y lo mismo, some of them are very light complected. I have cousins that have blue eyes, red hair,
Zacatecas.
Chihuahua. But yeah, they're probably, when you really get down to it, los españoles andaban en todo. Let's just put it that way.
They were in everything.
Literally. So you were kind of a bad kid, kind of a good kid?
Very hyperactive kid.
Okay.
Very hyperactive. My mind's always been just a million miles per minute.
Really?
And I just very hyperactive kid. So athletic, played sports. Soccer was my main thing.
Yeah.
Been playing soccer ever since. I still play soccer now, despite
I see. I saw
legs.
some of those videos too. Radio fam, you got to go on the Instagram. This guy's got some shots, and I'm like, I'm not even going to ask him his age, but he's got some moves. So let me go back to the childhood. So what introduced you to soccer?
My brothers. So I'm the youngest of four.
Oh,
four boys.
Wow.
And now these are soccer. We're soccer family. So my three older brothers were always out on the streets, just playing soccer from sunrise to sunset.
Dusk till dawn.
So that's just my background, soccer.
Wow.
And it's you're Hispanic. When you're Hispanic, you're kind of born into soccer by default.
Right.
It's like a cultural thing with us, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It just connected with us. So
right. And so, and I hear you mention your father. What did your mother do? What's your mother like?
My mother was a stay-at-home mother.
Okay.
Yeah. And just a
watching over everybody.
Pastor's wife. My dad was a missionary for a very long time in El Salvador, all across Central America.
Wow.
So she's just a supportive housewife.
Watching over four boys.
Watching over four very, very active, destructive boys.
But you know what? You strike me as somebody that was helpful to your mom. Like you guys all looked out for her,
We looked out for her. Yeah, I don't know if you'd call me very helpful.
Well, the baby.
The baby, yeah.
Yeah, so you were taken care of.
I was taken care of.
Yeah.
There's a lot more responsibility being delegated to my brothers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so, how old were you when you moved to the States?
This was 1995. I was born in 89, so I was about 5 going on 6 when we came here.
And then you came straight to LA?
Straight to Los Angeles, Huntington Park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's where I've spent the majority of my life. I didn't move to the West Side until 2017. So
Okay.
I'm over there. Ghetto boy. That's my background. Yeah.
And then so tell us how you got fell in love with what were you like when the Galaxy came to town?
So we weren't here for that 1994. You're saying you became a fan in 1994.
In 1994,
World
yes.
Cup.
Around the time the World Cup happened here.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna interrupt. And you know
Sure.
what? It was my mom. My mom, Mexico, and Mexico had an impeccable team when it comes to just the nostalgia.
Yeah,
Especially that goalkeeper in '94.
I
wonder who he was.
Jorge
Jorge
Campos,
Campos.
by far my favorite soccer player. I don't know what it was about him.
It's
it
the
was,
flair. right?
exactly
Yeah.
the flair, the fact that he seemed to like own that net, you know,
Yeah.
own that goal. But
He was
not
also
only
a
that-
striker.
Yeah. Well, that
Striker
too.
first and foremost.
That's also true. That's also very true. He'd come out even from the goal. He'd in his bright colored jerseys and his bright colored kit, and come all the way to the front line when they were doing a corner kick.
Fun fact: the jersey you're wearing is a striker jersey.
Oh well, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
You know.
But just imagine how crazy that was, in '94, seeing Campos like at the peak of his game. And
Yeah.
a year and a half later, he joins our team here
Yeah.
at home.
Yeah.
Not only just Campos, but think about not only the Mexico team, but also Brazil, Italy, Germany, the United States.
Oh,
The
yeah.
United States had an excellent team. I mean, they had John Harkes, they had
Ronaldo.
Kobe Jones, they had Wijnaldum,
Lalas,
they had Lalas,
Lalas.
I
so
mean,
on and so on.
and these are guys. They had who did they have in the net? I can't think of right now.
Tony Meola.
Yes, Tony.
And every
Meola.
single one of those
Yes.
players
right.
became ambassadors to what became MLS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost that
Yeah.
entire squad became
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
ambassador to a specific team designated to a club in MLS 2 years later.
The
which is
original
crazy,
first
bro.
10.
The original first 10,
Insane.
bro.
Yeah,
It's-
it was
it's-
awesome. I mean, it
crazy.
seemed like each one went to each one of the clubs.
Yeah,
that's exactly
right?
what happened. They all
San
got-
Jose had Eric.
Ronaldo.
Yeah.
We had Kobe.
Yeah, well, and then Alexi Lalas went to
New
was
England
he-
Revolution.
Yeah.
with John Harkes, correct?
John Harkes was in DC United.
Oh yes.
See, German knows his,
Oh
his
yeah, no, he's
MLS
putting me on the
history.
face. He's like, why am I even talking?
I'm just having a hard time figuring all this out.
No, but I mean,
Let's stick to focus to Chris.
yes,
Drift
yes.
us away.
Hey, we
no,
could talk
no.
MLS here all day.
Well, I mean, I'm just talking about like as far as like in 1994,
94, yeah,
you know,
bro, that
how
World Cup.
how that was a lot of fun, and I remember just thinking, I want to play soccer.
Yeah.
I didn't play soccer at that time. At that time, I was 14 years old. I just had no idea. Yeah, and then I
Chris, you
signed
were?
up.
I was about 4.
Really?
I have a vague recollection because we were watching the World Cup in El Salvador still.
Oh, okay.
We didn't get here till 95.
Right.
So when we got here in 95, you start hearing the talks of, well, there's a team, there's a league forming, and we had no idea Mauricio Cienfuegos was going to be on this team. But
Right.
Mauricio Cienfuegos is I would call him a national hero at this point in El Salvador. He's an icon. So when we found out he was on the team 1996, being the soccer fans that we were as
In
a
LA.
family in LA, a city
it.
that we just moved to, it was natural.
Right.
It honestly felt like it was just natural for us.
Yeah.
I was a lot younger than my brothers. My brothers knew more of what it's like to be a fan of a team. I was just kind of, hey, my brothers are into it, so I guess I'm into it.
Right.
Right. So I didn't really gain a true appreciation of the Galaxy as a fan until I was a little older and I kind of understood the game.
And speaking of that, when was your first Galaxy game that you have recollection of?
I'm trying to remember. We had a family friend. So we were extremely poor growing up. We had a family friend that was a diehard Galaxy fan, actually named his firstborn son Kevin, after Kevin Hartman.
Wow.
And he used to take me and my brothers to the Rose Bowl to watch games, the original days, So it might have been maybe 98, my
Really?
first game, 98, 99, right around that time.
So you
Yeah.
so you went around that World Cup, that era. Around
Yeah,
that World
yeah.
Cup
So
when-
around the 98, like the French World Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, family friend. That's the first Galaxy game that I ever attended
a big
with
shout
a family
out
friend.
to people in our lives that same story, exactly
Yeah.
what you just said. Poor family. It was my godfather, my uncle, the one that took me to my
Nice.
first Galaxy game, and it's crazy how these people I look at as guardian angels in our lives. Like
Yeah.
our parents can't do it, but there's this guy that's gonna take you to these games, and you're gonna fall in love with this team, and you're gonna become addicted, and it's gonna be part of the rest of your life. Like how pivotal are those moments? When these people come into your life and
Oh,
It's
it
insane,
changes
bro.
you. It
Yeah.
changes you.
like I wouldn't be having this conversation with both of you guys if it wasn't for my deal. Like it's just crazy how
The butterfly effect.
butterfly effect, and it just takes that one game, bro. That one. It's crazy what you're saying because the buzz was already here in LA.
Yeah,
it was on the newspapers, on the news that these players were coming to this team. But if you remember, well, I was about to say if you remember, but Cienfuegos was almost